Oh no! What we're thinking? Oh, Architect, please help me! Oh, I don't wanna die! I don't wanna die! Oh my God, Lord! Alright, we made it. Told you it was a bad idea. Why did we check the main road? That's the most dangerous! You know what? Forget it. Forget it. Point being is that we made it. Now, just remember, the Iconoclasts are savages, alright? They are dissidents in our midst. Absolute danger. Well, more realistically, they are a group of survivalists living here in the ruins of Amber Heights on Monarch. But, well, they do hope to one day tear down the corporate establishment that they believe has brought the colony to the brink of death. So, here we are. We can go inside now. Any second now. Really? I'm gonna take the first step? Okay then. Yeah, okay. I'll remember this! Huh. This is not so bad actually. Who would have guessed that the board was lying about the dissidents, right? Oh come on, you wouldn't done the same thing to me, Captain. The Iconoclasts are a group of idealistic revolutionaries that seek to overthrow the corporate establishment that runs the Halcyon colony. They are based in the ruins of Amber Heights, a settlement on Monarch. They are a tenacious group and share some democratic ideals with Monarch Stellar Industries against the more repressive actions of the board. However, the Iconoclast's anti-corporate nature has put them at odds with MSI, a dispute that threatens to spill into all-out warfare. Given that the Iconoclasts are mostly followers of the Philosophy's faith, they have been blacklisted and even demonized by the board as dissenters and anarchists. The Iconoclasts are led by Graham Bryant, a staunch philosophist, but the group also considers Sora Blackwood a leader because she serves as a military guide and was with them from the very beginning. Just like Graham and Sanji, these two persons are almost complete opposites, even if on the same side. So, we gotta decide where to start again. Sora Blackwood is a member of the Iconoclast, and alongside Graham, she is one of the group's de facto leaders. But before joining the Iconoclast, Sora lived all the way in Cascadia and worked for Rizos in the bottling plant as a doctor. She was an excellent employee and often described as a top-notch sawbones with a good head for working under pressure. Following the enactment of the Hazard Clause, Sora became suspicious that Rizos management was not telling their staff the entire truth. And when the final evacuation procedures went south, and the Petrorays which were being transported off-world broke out of their cages, Sora and many other Rizzo employees were left behind. Sora and those left behind survived in Cascadia for a time, until the town was threatened by marauders and they had to flee the place. Sora was the only survivor of this escape, forced to climb a chasm to escape from the marauders after all of her companions were eventually killed. Not long after was when she joined Graham Bryant and helped start the Iconoclast, patching up those who got wounded while fighting for their cause. Nearly every member of the Iconoclast owes her their life in some way. However, her methods of operations, including her desire to impose some form of scheduling on the faction, has ruffled some feathers. This has led to conflicts between herself and Graham Bryant, the latter being more focused on spreading the message of philosophism, considering Sora's concern about food and medicine to be merely a distraction and attachment to corporate materialism. Speaking of, let's take a look at the man of the hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, take a seat. We bring you the man, the myth, the murderer. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Graham Bryant!
Sorry, got a little bit excited over there. Prior to the evacuation of Stora 1, Graham was a low-level editor for Monarch Stellar Industries, writing for their product catalog, his job's purpose being to spread
Spread awareness of Saltuna in its various forms.
His supervisors observed that, even though he was a gifted writer, he had a tendency to flout the rules, and his writing contained some subversive undertones, although he originally bought into the corporate way of life as a manner of finding motivation and meaning. Graham eventually became cynical as he realized that the corporations treated their employees as no better than pets, and longed for a more human connection than his current life could provide him. That's when he discovered philosophism and began to believe that his purpose was to spread the word of the eternal truth to the rest of the world. When the hazard clause was invoked and the evacuation of Monarch began, he and fellow MSI executive Sanjar Nandi were informed by Hiram Blythe about a loophole which would allow for MSI to take full control of the planet. Graham and Sanjar believed that this provided them with an opportunity to dismantle the corporate system, even if they had different interpretations of this intention. However, they were unable to convince the other MSI executives of this plan, so Graham made an arrangement to remove this hurdle. Amber Heights. Amber Heights was once the place of residence of the entire executive dome of Monarch Stellar Industries. They lived there with their families, and it was the company's operations center on Monarch. Graham's frustration with the inaction made him desperate. So he informed a crew of pirates about the wealth that could be found in Amber Heights, and he even provided them with the gate's access codes to break into the settlement. Those pirates ransacked the town and massacred all of its inhabitants. This tragedy was known as the Amber Heights Massacre, and Graham, well, he just believed that the massacre would aid him in his quest to rid the colony of corporate influence. On the night of the pirate attack, Graham slept safely in Stellar Bay, while the rest of his colleagues were being slaughtered. After the Amber Heights massacre, Sanjar took ownership of MSI, something which Graham viewed as a betrayal of the ideals which he believed motivated them both. This caused a fracture in their friendship, and Graham became ever more zealous about spreading philosophism to those left behind on the planet, founding a group known as the Iconoclast. Even as the Iconoclast settled in Amber Heights, Graham was reluctant to speak of the event that happened there, and this was interpreted by his followers as grief over the loss of his former colleagues. His true reaction to the events that happened there? Well, they ranged from guilt to denial, and eventually to believe that his actions were ultimately justified. Now, on the side of relationships and how they are dealt with, I think I don't have to tell you that the board does not dance along with the Iconoclast. The board considers the Iconoclast to be dissenters and anarchists, dedicated to overthrowing their vision of a corporate-led society in Halcyon. As such, the board often demonizes the Iconoclast and their philosophy beliefs in official propaganda. On the other side, with Monarch Stellar Industries, the Iconoclast maintains a really tense relationship with the MSI, as I told you last time. Despite sharing democratic values and a common desire towards egalitarianism for the people of Monarch and the wider Halcyon colony, MSI's egalitarian corporate structure has proven to be at odds with some of the Iconoclast's more radical anti-capitalist views. As leader of the Iconoclast, Graham prioritizes the spreading of philosophism to the rest of Halcyon, using the Devil's Peak station broadcast channel to hijack Halcyon's news network, programming on locations including Groundbreaker, and spending Iconoclast resources on securing a printing press which would allow them to better disseminate their message. This has led to a disagreement between Graham and his second-in-charge Zora Blackwood, who disapproves of prioritizing evangelism over the welfare of their people. Wait, what was that? By the law, you don't know what scientism is? Oh, that's not gonna roll, Cap. We need to get you to Edgewater right now. I'll tell you more about this on the way. But if we're going to talk about religion, we need to get preserved first, Captain. I think I have some Spectrum Red on my cabin. Come on, I'll pour you a glass.